policies to consider for 2024. Some of the policies that you may want to update and consider are company property information and agreements. Some of the scenarios that we have encountered are where in litigation where employees had access to other employee information such as wages, names, and contact information, or even time records. And they take that information and, for example, in class action related cases, they can use that against the employer. Another area is when an executive has access to confidential employee information and takes or shares that information with other employees. Another area is where employees may have access to their own personnel file, and they may take the personnel file with them if they, are about to quit, give their notice of termination if they know that they are about to be terminated, and you may not be able to find their personnel file. So you may want to implement policies where practices where the information is protected. Another area of concern and things that you may want to continue to do or implement are meal break attestations. Employers are allowed to use meal break attestations to shift the burden of proof to the plaintiff. Generally, the employer is supposed to keep records of meal breaks, and the records may show that there are violations. Now, and if the records show that there is a violation, that establishes a rebuttable presumption that there are meal period violations, and that shifts the burden to the employer. And the attestation is where the employer can help establish or prove that that they can shift the burden to the plaintiff, then back to the plaintiff, because you can show that here are the attestations that where the employee, for example, agrees I was provided an opportunity to take the 30-minute meal break before the end of my 5th hour of work, but chose not to. I was provided an opportunity to take 30-minute break before the end of the 5th hour, but I chose to take a shorter or late break, or I was not provided an opportunity, depending on how the attestations are signed by the employee. That can help shift the burden back to the employee. Now, how often should you have these attestations? You can have them weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the business needs and how you're able to implement that. Electronic attestations are probably best. Paper is fine, but they're hard to track and maybe hard to gather and analyze in litigation. Weekly attestations or pay period attestations usually are challenged, though. The pay period attestations are challenged, and plaintiffs may say that they felt forced to sign the attestation to receive the pay. So even though you may want to have a biweekly attestation, but move it to a non-payroll week. You need to have someone analyze the attestation, investigate why the employees are claiming that they could not take the break. So it's not just important to have the attestations. You want to review the attestations periodically. And if employees are saying that they weren't able to take their breaks, so if you see some issues, you want to address that before it becomes a bigger problem.